Every single person has at least one thing in common. And we're reminded of that today. We all have a mom. Today is the day that we've set aside to push pause on this busy thing we call life and actually think about the most taken for granted person on the planet, good old mom.
Happy Mother's Day!
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Relationships are mirrors to the soul. Our connections to our moms represent our first relationship. Not only were we conceived in the womb, not only did your body develop and grow inside of her body, but you were also completely dependent on her. Everything that she ate, felt, and thought transferred directly into you as you were forming.
Well, my first relationship set the tone for every other relationship I've ever had. My mom rocks. I love her so much, and she showed me how to love too.
So that was my first relationship, huh? That explains it. I didn't have a chance from the beginning then. My mom was not the nicest person God ever created.
Speaking of God, my mom is hanging out with him. Regardless of how my relationship was with my mother here on earth, that she's in heaven now when I do this.
Our moms are so powerful. You see the mirror?
Oh, yes, of course. I love my mom so much, and she loves me as much as I love her.
Well, I didn't feel much love from mine, and I gotta say, I didn't give her much either. She wasn't an easy woman to love.
Well, I miss my mom, and I'm pretty sure that she misses me too.
We've learned so much from our moms. What did you learn from your first relationship? One with your mom. What else do you see in the mirror?
Well, I wouldn't change a thing about my mom, and I guess if you were to ask, she wouldn't change things about me either. That's pretty cool.
I wish I could say the same. I would change a lot of things about my mom, if I could, and I am certain that she would change a lot of things about me too. In fact, she tells me so all the time.
Since my mom passed away, it seems I spend more time just waiting for wanting more time with her, reflecting on how we spent the time that we did have. I just miss her so much, especially today. I would think that a lot of that would hold true for her too.
Sometimes we forget that our moms are human beings too. We seem to hold our moms to a different standard. They are moms after all. But they're also human beings, able to love, make mistakes, doing what they know and trying their best and learning as they go.
It's hard to believe that my mom is human sometimes. She seems like Superwoman to me.
Mine is far too human to see this. This is just so much pain, disappointment, rejection, and judgment.
Mine reminds me that we are all one of human spirits, not bodies. Her body is in the cemetery, but I still feel her spirit around sometimes. I even talk with her. Sometimes she even shows up in my dreams.
Do you ever talk to God about your mom?
Oh, yes, I pray for her all the time. I know that God hears me.
Yeah, I've asked him on more than one occasion. What crazy thinking.
Yes, my mom and God are roommates. They are both in heaven. Often as I am talking to one of them, I find myself talking to both.
Let's see if we can get God's perspective. God, have you been listening?
Always.
Good morning, God.
Good morning and a happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the mother that you did.
What were you thinking?
Tell Mom hi for me, and that I miss her.
Okay, one at a time. First of all, of your relationships with your moms started it the very same way. You chose them, you chose your mom, and your mom chose you before you were ever conceived.
Well, I sure chose a good one.
You're putting that on me.
I know.
Yep, that's how this co-creation thing works. I don't force much. Remember, I'm the guy who invented free will.
Of course, you are God after all.
Oh yeah, huh? And all this time, I just thought that I drew the universal short straw.
I know God. Thank you.
God, on Mother's Day, what guidance do you give us?
Nothing is so good that it can't be even better. Nothing is so bad that it cannot be healed. nothing is ever truly gone. Everything has a purpose. And I love you and your mommy very much.
Position: mom, mother, mama, mommy. Job description: imagine reading this in the paper. Long-term long-term team players needed for challenging permanent work in an often chaotic environment. Candidates must possess excellent communication and organizational skills and be willing to work variable hours, which will include evenings, weekends, frequent 24-hour shifts on call, some overnight travel required, including trips to primitive camping sites on rainy weekends, endless sports tournaments in faraway cities, travel expenses not reimbursed, extensive courier duties also required. Responsibilities: the rest of your life. You must be willing to be hated, at least temporarily, until someone needs $5. Must be willing to bite tongue repeatedly. Must also possess the physical stamina of a pack mule and able to go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds flat, just in case the screams in the backyard are not from someone just crying wolf. Must be willing to face stimulating technical challenges, such as small gadget repair, mysteriously sluggish toilets, and stuck zippers. Must screen phone calls, maintain calendars, coordinate production of multiple homework projects. Must have the ability to plan and organize social gatherings for clients of all ages and mental outlooks. Must be willing to be indispensable one minute and an embarrassment the next. Must handle assembly of products, safety testing for 500,000 cheap plastic toys and battery-operated devices. Must always hope for the best but be prepared for the worst. Must assume final complete accountability for the quality of the end product. Responsibilities also include, and are not limited to, nurse, chauffeur, cook, psychologist, tutor, floor maintenance, janitorial work throughout the facility. Possibility for promotion and advancement: virtually none. Your job is to remain in the same position for years without complaining, constantly retraining and updating your skills so that those in your charge can ultimately surpass you. Previous experience: none required. On-the-job training is offered on a continual, exhausting basis. Wages and compensation for this position: get this, you pay them. Offering frequent raises and bonuses. A balloon payment is due when they turn 18, with the assumption that when they go to college, they will hopefully become a little more financially independent. When you die, you give them whatever's left. The oddest thing about this reverse salary scheme is you will actually enjoy it and actually wish you could do more. Benefits: while no health or dental insurance, no pension, no tuition reimbursement, no paid holidays, no stock options are offered, this job does supply limitless opportunities for growth, free hugs, for life, if you play your cards right. So I was looking at what it is to be a mom and what it is to have Mother's Day and what it is to celebrate both of these things. And there's twofold with this. On one hand is every one of us in this room has a mom. And just like the people in the skit, person one absolutely loved their mom. Couldn't have been closer. Person two wanted that and didn't get it. Person three thought that window of opportunity had passed them by because mom was God's roommate, was hanging out on the other side. Almost all of us fall into at least one of these categories, and most of us, category 1 and 2 are kind of interchangeable. Because just like in the job description, at some point, you have to be willing to be hated, at least temporarily. I know in my own life, there's times that I've absolutely loved you, Mom, and there's other times that you just straight pissed me off. And most of it didn't have much to do with you. It had to do with me. And it had to do with me wanting you to do something or say something or feel something. And most of us are that way with our moms. This is our first relationship. Not only were we conceived inside them, not only did our body grow inside of their body, but we were completely dependent on them from inception. Everything they thought, ate, felt, spoke went directly into us as we were forming. This creates a special bond with mother and child that is unlike any other bond on this planet. Now that can be a good thing or not so much a good thing. It kind of depends. And with that, we look at our moms and we try to hold them to a different standard because moms have S's on their chest and fly around the room. But moms are human. I know two things about moms. Moms are female. Okay? Now, let's break this down for just a second. My logical male left brain stuff. What do I know about women? I know a couple things. One thing I know about women is y'all are harder on yourselves than any other creature on this planet. Y'all can give 110% and beat yourself up that you didn't give 120. Absolutely. Absolutely. And in addition to that, women try to control things far outside of their control. Us men think that we're logical folks and we can look at this stack of dominoes. Women try to control everything that they can for the benefit of their child. From the time they're little bitty to the time that they're taller than you are. We try to control everything because we want it to be perfect for them. And anything short of perfect has us kicking our own butts. Not only do we think of our mom should be, or was, or is, Superwoman, but we also think that we should be living up to that same standard of Superwoman. Completely controlling the world economy, the national economy, the bank account, the amount of time that you have, the amount of time that you don't have but you need to make. The ability to do all of these jobs in here, from nurse to chauffeur to courier to counselor, and at the same time, we live in a two-income society that you need to go have a job that makes money too. As I was thinking about today's service on Mother's Day, I was thinking about a couple things. One, how cool it is that my own mom is here. That's a cool thing. And two, I was wondering about this magical transition that happens from a person being a person to a person being a mother. As a person, as a female, there's the rules that you have. But as soon as you become a mom, then all the rules change. And I started to look at why that is. And so I found something to kind of sum it up a little bit. I'm going to ask my mom to come up and read it.
Uh-oh.
Not like a big surprise.
That got her attention.
Before I was a mom, I slept as late as I wanted, and I never worried about how late I got into bed. I brushed my hair and my teeth every day. Before I was a mom, I cleaned my house every day. I never tripped over toys or forgot words to a lullaby. I didn't worry whether or not my plants were poisonous, and I never thought about immunizations. Before I was mom, I had never been puked on, cleaned on, spit on, chewed on, or peed on. I had complete control of my mind and my thoughts, and I slept all night. Before I was a mom, I never held down a screaming child so that doctors could do tests or give shots. I never looked into teary eyes and cried. I never got gloriously happy over a simple grin. I never sat up late at night watching a baby sleep. Before I was a mom, I never held a sleeping baby just because I didn't want to put it down. I never felt my heart break into a million pieces when I couldn't stop the hurt. I never knew that something so small could affect my life so much. I never knew that I could love someone so much. I never knew that I would love being a mom. Before I was a mom, I didn't know the feeling of having my heart outside my body. I didn't know how special it could feel to feed a hungry baby. I didn't know that bond between a mother and her child. I didn't know that something so small could make me feel so important. Before I was a mom, I had never gotten up in the middle of the night every 10 minutes to make sure all was okay. I had never known the warmth, the joy, the love, the heartache, the wonderment, or the satisfaction of being a mom. I didn't know I was capable of feeling so much before I was a mom.
So that's what we're talking about today. Do you feel that? It's what it is. Regardless of the job description we read earlier and from a logical standpoint, a completely ridiculous and absurd thought this whole motherhood thing is. If that was the ad in the newspaper, is pay me to come to work. Work 24 hours a day, get chewed on, bit on, spit on, pooped on, peed on, be willing to be the bad guy, the villain, and temporarily hated. Meanwhile, you're paying your employers, you're paying the kids who continually want raises. None of us in our right mind would answer that call. But the feeling as my own mom read that, with my wife standing next to her, that's what makes it worth living. In life, we have these thoughts that how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this way. And I'll try everything I can to make it this way, because it's the way it's supposed to be. It's what moms are supposed to do. And there is no rule book. And there are things that are outside of every one of our controls. Guess what? There were things outside of your mom's control too. The same way that you were doing the absolute best that you know to do, and learning along the way. And meanwhile, struggling with things like right and wrong and fair and not fair and pride and whatever made up part of your recipe from who your parents were and their parents were and their parents were that trained you to be who you are. It's the same toolbox they're working with. In the skit, there was one gal who didn't want to change a thing about her mom. And she realized that her mom didn't want to change a thing about her either. The next one, somebody wanted to change everything about their mom. Felt like they were drawing the universal short straw. And in like kind, they felt that their mom wanted to change everything about them. There's a mirror here of giving what you want to receive. Most of the time, we want something, and the only way that we know to get it is by playing the game, is doing the dance, the same dance that we were taught. And often that dance is a struggle of power or control, or doing the right thing, or saying the right thing, or biting your tongue. Most of the time, the complete opposite is true. For the person number 2 in the skit who wanted nothing but acceptance from mom, if they would be courageous enough to give that acceptance, chances are they would receive it. Today is a very mixed emotion day in my world, personally, because on one hand, I've got my own mom here. My own mom in my own church on Mother's Day. That's pretty cool. On the other hand, I got my wife here. Mother of 5 children. absolutely loves and misses beyond measure. Because they're in California right now with their dad. And at this particular moment, there's nothing that can be done about that. So on one hand, I have this joy and celebration that I moved to Florida to connect better with these two, with my mom and my dad. And I get to be here for this. I don't get to be the guy today who dials 1-800-Flowers and says, I want number 3, supersize it, and you send it to this address. I don't get to be that guy. I get to be the guy who looks across the table and says, how you doing? I love you. Now, if you were to ask this woman, my mom, if there were things that she would have done differently in her life with being my mom, I can tell you with certainty she would say yes. I can tell you with certainty because we've had the conversation. I can also tell you with certainty that I wouldn't let her if she could. Because I really, really, really love who I am. And if you were to take any of the mistakes, any of the things that didn't go the way that she wanted them to go, maybe things that were outside of her control that were the best decisions she had to make in the moment, if she were to take them out, I don't know how that would affect the rest of me. I don't know who I'd be without those things. By the same token, I look at my wife and I see the same thing. Yeah, I wish I could have done it different. This wasn't the way I had planned it. For most of us, it isn't. Show of hands, how many people your life went exactly the way you had it sketched out on paper?
Right.
Show of hands, how many people got thrown a curveball along the way and just had to roll with punches? Okay? But as moms, we think that it's our job to control it all, to make it okay, to do it just the way it was supposed to be. I had it mapped out in my head in order to do this and that and these and those. It's not about that. It is. It is today about love. And it is today about celebration for that special love that is to a mother, to a child. And with this, I ask that you look inside your heart for a moment as you think about your own mom. Granted, there are things there that I'm sure that you would like to have changed. Maybe some things that you can still change. We asked in the skit God for his advice. He said, no matter how good it is, it can always be better. On the other side, he said, there is no pain that cannot be healed. Most of our relationships with our mothers have both of those. They have both sides because we're human and our moms are human. So I ask you to just close your eyes, look inside your heart, and picture your mom. Good can always be better. I would ask you to picture yourself standing next to your mom and reach inside your chest and pull out a gift. That gift can be simple, it'll have a color and a shape. And I ask that today on Mother's Day that you give your mom that gift. Most moms don't like to be outdone. So imagine your mom reaching into her chest and pulling out a gift for you also. And handing it to you. You taking that gift that your mom gave and putting it inside of your chest as she takes the gift that you gave her and puts it inside of her own chest. As that energy is exchanged. If there were some things there that needed healed, let them heal. If there are some things there that increased the good and made it even better. Right? And even if mom is not contained within her physical body, that doesn't mean she doesn't exist. It simply means she's no longer contained. It's God's own name. And such can still be energy exchange. Ask inside this picture inside your mind's eye. Give your mom a hug. Let the judgments fall away. The acceptance flow in. The happiness, the love strengthen and get greater. And the parts that were missing, or that needed some help, love, acceptance, recognition, judgment, keeping only the parts that are the true nature of what the relationship is. And in that hug, whether your mom is here in the room, whether she's still on this planet, or whether she's on the other side, I invite you to wish your mom a happy Mother's Day. You feel that? You feel how things are maybe a little different than they were? I want you to picture on the other side, if you have children, your children. And if there's a gift inside of you that you would like to give to your child or your children, to each one, imagine reaching into your heart, into your chest, and pulling out something and giving it a color and a shape and handing it to the child or each child. I'll allow them the same opportunity to reach inside themselves and pull out a special part of themselves and hand it to you. As you take that from them, just feel it. As you put it into your chest. You feel that. You feel that gift. As you feel them hug you and utter the words, Happy Mother's Day.